You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning, everyone. We do questions and answers, so that's what I'm planning this morning. I've got a couple of studies that maybe I'll talk to you about too today. So good morning. Gonna have a good program this morning. We're gonna talk about a few things. Some good questions came in. Okay, so let's get going. We want to talk about some things some of the questions that were asked, and they were all good questions. Somebody asked me about, let's talk about the real vitamin E, Dr. Martin. I kind of got a chuckle because, listen, when I don't talk about a vitamin, okay, I mean, when I'm talking about the world's vitamins versus the Martin Clinic vitamins, okay? And I'm not really saying that tongue-in-cheek, by the way. I mean, a little bit. You know me, I'm a little bit of a joker there. But when I don't have you ever heard me talk to you about vitamin E other than exercise, okay? So somebody was asking, very good question, what about the other vitamin E then? Okay, like I don't want to say, look, when I don't talk about that, I want you to eat that and not supplement with it. Okay, do you ever hear me talking about B vitamins other than B12? You won't hear it here, okay? There's a reason for it. Because when you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you get all your vitamins. And the other vitamins are therapeutic, okay? So when I say therapeutic, I like certain vitamins in a therapeutic dose, like B12, because we're so deficient in it. As a matter of fact, let me give you an example of just some study that came out yesterday, okay? And on vitamin D. Every day it seems I talk about vitamin D. You are a human solar panel. Never forget that. You need the sun. So I talk about vitamin D all the time, don't I? Well, you get a little bit of vitamin D in your diet, okay, by eating animal. The only way you get vitamin D in your diet is in animal foods, eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay, just remember that. Vitamin D2 is found in the plant kingdom, but it's not absorbable. It's not enough for a mouse. Study came out yesterday. It said that something that we already knew, but it confirmed that in seniors, as you age, you need vitamin D for your balance. So when you see someone, you know, one of the reasons that seniors fall, they're much more susceptible to breaking their hips. They say, well, they got soft bones. Well, that's part of it, but it only happens after they fall. Why do they fall? Because of an imbalance. They have that, it's called proprioception. And because they don't have much muscle strength, then you're not going to get good muscle strength, and you won't even have strong bones without vitamin D. That's why, you know me, if I could take 2 vitamins into the senior homes, I'd bring them B12 and I'd bring them vitamin D. Plus, every sunny day, I would wheel them out or bring them for a walk, even if they're using a walker, to get outside and get some sun. But unfortunately, medicine doesn't realize that, and they don't talk about it. And, you know, in general, and the reason is, guys, is because God bless them, but today in medical schools, they don't even take nutrition courses. By and large, they're not. And the answer is not in drugs. I get it. You know what is the average now? 13, 14 medications a day. People over 60 are taking 13 or 14 meds every day. The pharmaceutical industry, to some extent, has hijacked our healthcare system. We see it happening even in COVID. Let's flatten the curve. Okay, we all agreed. Let's flatten the curve. Okay, flatten the curve. Now it's, they moved the goalpost, right? It's not flattening the curve. The curve was a pancake, by the way. All the models that they had were wrong. All of them. They were all wrong. Anyway, doesn't matter. It happened. Flatten the curve, they said. Okay, now it's not flatten the curve. It's called the new normal. Have you heard that? For heaven's sakes, you can't even get into Costco now without a mask. It's the new normal. And look, it's the way it is. Is Dr. Martin against it or for it, or it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is the new normal now is going to include, in my opinion, a vaccine brought to you by the pharmaceutical industry. Hey, I don't blame them. I mean, that's what they do. I remember talking to an oncologist, this is years ago, and I said, it was concerning cancer. I said, well, what's the 5-year survival rate, whether you take the chemo or not? Why are you asking me that? I said, well, I just want to know, what's the 5-year survival rate on this cancer if you do chemotherapy or not? He said, it's the same. I said, well, why do you do it? He said, because that's what we do. Well, that's not a good answer. That's what we do? Why do you do it? So now we're looking for a vaccine. And I've talked to you about this before, that the flu shot works only 40% of the time on average, 40%. So why is the world going to wait for a vaccine for the coronavirus if it's not going to work on everybody? Now, maybe everybody's going to have to get it. You might not be able to travel without it. I don't know what they're going to do. I see the world, guys, flying by the seat of their pants. Do you know what that means? They really don't know where they're going. They're making it up as they go along. And it's changed our world in a drastic way, hasn't it? You know, when you think about it, it's really changed our world in a drastic way. Well, guys, I'm telling you, our healthcare system is broken. We don't have a healthcare system. We have a disease care system. And to me, that's the biggest issue in society, is that issue. Okay? So coming back to vitamin D, like doctors, like they're so worried. I answered this yesterday when Tony Jr. and I did the live. We talked about like vitamin D. It's so important. It's so important. But doctors, all they think of, oh yeah, you need some vitamin D for your bones. They won't argue with that. You know, get some calcium with vitamin D in it. But what they're scared of is, don't take too much vitamin D. Okay. But your body's smart, guys. It will take what it needs, even though it's fat soluble, because vitamin D isn't a vitamin. It's a hormone. And every cell in your body needs it. You know, and what we knew in the 1950s and the 1960s about vitamin D, we know a lot more now, and we know it's important. Okay, so let's get to vitamin E for a second. So the real vitamin E. My vitamin E is exercise because it's 10 times better than the other vitamin E. Now, the other vitamin E you get mostly in the plant kingdom. Okay, like when you, vitamin E, like if you eat nuts and seeds, peanut butter. I get vitamin E every day. I eat peanut butter. Except when I'm doing the reset. I love peanut butter. Okay? It's vitamin P. I think I'm going to put that in my vitamin list. Peanut butter. I like it. Okay? My wife says, you can live on peanut butter. True. I love it. I've always loved it, even as a kid. Okay? And I get a natural peanut butter, and I like it. I like it with my coffee in the morning. That's how I take my supplements. Am I weird? Yeah, probably. Okay, so that's me. So I get vitamin E from that peanut butter. Nuts and seeds generally are the best sources of vitamin E. So macadamia nuts, and not so much in peanuts. Like the peanut butter, it's not the best source of vitamin E, but hey, is it essential? Nah. Exercise is more essential. Okay, so there's the good question. I'm glad you asked it. And then somebody else asked about, Dr. Martin, how come you never talk about vitamin C? Yes, I do. Coffee. I want you to eat your vitamin C. By the way, when you have steak, guess what's in it? Vitamin C. There's vitamin C in steak. You didn't know that, eh? I know, because they've been talking about, even with this COVID, there was some talk about giving intravenous doses of vitamin C. I agree with that, by the way. I'm not against that. Absolutely. But the only thing I find with vitamin C is you need to take it in high doses, and I mean for therapeutics, okay? And that's why I'm bigger on the vitamin C that I like, which is coffee. And you know what? You want to talk about a powerful antioxidant? Is coffee. Yeah. It's a powerful antioxidant. I'm not just telling you that because I like it. My wife says, you look for every study that confirms your bias on coffee. True. If it's negative, I won't read it. Oh, yes, I'll read it, but I'll dismiss it. Okay? But you know what? If you guys have known me all these years, if you go back into, I don't know, I think it was about mid-70s or whatever, some guru or whatever came out of the woodwork. I remember it, you know, like a deal. I can't remember the date. It was probably in the mid-70s or maybe early 80s. They said, well, don't drink coffee. It's not good for you. The caffeine and it's acidic. Don't drink coffee. It's acidic. How stupid. It's stupid. Your body, listen, your body has a buffering system. Your body, guys, has sodium bicarbonate. You know when they tell you to put baking soda into your refrigerator for the odors, it'll pick up, open up the box and, for a month or two, it'll pick up odors, right? That's baking soda. Your body has baking soda. So when you have something acidic, a tomato is acidic. We all agree, right? But why is it good for you? Well, first of all, once it gets into your gut, your body releases sodium bicarbonate to make it alkaline. Oh, Dr. Martin. Yeah, baking soda. You think you invented baking soda? Man did? No, God did. It's inside your cells to keep your pH balanced. And some people take baking soda and they put it in their mouth and that. I don't like that. I'm not big on baking soda, you eating baking soda. Okay, some people like that, For cancer, they tell me, nah, your body already has it. You don't need it, the baking soda. Your body already has baking soda. Your body knows how to make you alkaline. It'll keep your pH in a very tight level, okay? And if you have a good diet with vitamin C, coffee, it'll be good for you. It's a powerful anti-cancer. Did you know that? Coffee is powerful as an anti-cancer. So, somebody said, what about tea, doc? I said, why would you drink tea when you can drink coffee? It's my preference, okay? Tea's good, but it's not as powerful as an antioxidant as coffee is. You know what? Think about it. Okay, so, good questions, right? Those are good questions. Okay. My grandson has a terrible problem with earwax. Why is this? Well, look, everybody's different. Generally, when you have a real enormous buildup of wax in your ears, usually that is, to me, it's fungal. It's that candida, okay? It's yeast. And your body is overreacting to that. So at the end of the day, where that started was not in your ears. It started in the gut. Remember the gut, Hippocrates said it 2,000 years ago, right? All disease starts in the gut. Imagine the father of medicine 2,000 years ago. Little did we know that he was so right. You make more hormones in your gut than you do in your brain. And this is why I'm a big guy on that leaky gut fix it. And when you get a lot of buildup, even in the sinuses or in wax in the ears, and they talk about ways of taking it out you know what? Be careful with that. Be careful with your middle ear. Don't play with that stuff too much, okay? But fix the gut. Fix the gut, okay? Because that's the big thing, probiotics. Why do people get hammer toe? Okay, hammer toe is when your toe is usually like this. It buckles. This is me. It's an arch problem. Okay, so it is usually, people that, look, if you get bunions, on your big toe or whatever you get, it's usually flattening of your metatarsal arch. I used to have a foot here. I would show you. I don't know where my foot is, okay? But, okay, you should have a little bit of a metatarsal arch. Some people have a very high metatarsal arch. This is where they usually get hammer toe. What do you do about that? You might need orthotics or whatever to try and fix that, okay? Use a tennis ball to work your arch out. What vitamin deficiency causes bruising under the skin? Well, it could be a couple of things. Bruising under the skin can be due to malabsorption of iron, malabsorption of B12, okay? That has a lot to do with that. In seniors, it's very, very common, okay? And usually that's because of weakness in their capillaries or easy bruising. You taking aspirin? Are you taking a blood thinner like Eliquis or something like that? Watch your medications. They're often blood thinners and they thin the blood out. One of the common side effects of that. So look for iron, look for B12. I mean, look, and bruising, like just in kids or whatever, just get that checked out, okay? Because it could be, watch for leukemia and things like that. But generally, the things that I talked about, trigger thumb, okay? When you get a trigger finger or trigger thumb, that's called Dupuytren's contracture. Isn't medicine fun, guys? Dupuytren's contracture. When you get a calcified tendon in your finger locks, okay? And, repetition, people that are gripping all day long, that can happen to them. But the one thing too, and it's an interesting thing, it's often a sign of insulin resistance. When those tendons harden up, it's one of the warning signs of insulin resistance. So change your diet, okay? Good questions. Why do I crave, Diane says, why do I crave sugar after I eat? And after I eat it, and if I don't eat it, then I don't crave it. Yeah, it's like an addict, right? My name is Tony, and I'm a carbaholic, okay? Now, if you lay off the carbs, you're going to find, this is why the reset is so good for people. If you lay off the carbs, you'll find that the cravings go away. We talked about this the other day, right? 3 signs that you're eating the wrong foods: energy, cravings, and hunger. Energy, cravings, and hunger. And I talked about this the other day, the cravings for salt and the cravings for sugar. Though, and remember we talked about the addictive foods? And ladies, when you crave chocolate, hormones. When you crave salt, cortisol, adrenals. Generally, men, when you crave bread. I always remember in the office, a guy, I put him on the reset because he's a diabetic, okay? And I can't remember, I think I diagnosed it too. I saw sugar in his urine. I said, you're a diabetic. Oh, no, I said, yes, you are. You're on the Titanic. Now go home, no more carbs. I told him the cat story, okay? And he said, Doc, what am I going to eat my eggs with? I need my bread to dip into my eggs. I can't eat bacon and eggs without bread. I said, pretend. You can keep doing this. Just don't have anything in your hand. Well, you know what? He called me a week later, and I'm telling you, I pretty near died on the phone because he told me, Doc, I'm pretending. So men, when you crave bread, you got a big problem with insulin. Big problem. Okay? Men love bread, and kids love pizza. And they crave it. They got a sugar belly. Okay? So what happens when you change fuels and you reset the body, your body will not crave. Your cravings go away. This is one of the greatest things. Your hunger goes away. Your cravings go away. Now remember, I love what Tony Jr. said. Okay? Doc Jr. He's the brains of the family. He said this, I don't know if it was last week or yesterday. I can't remember. You know what he said? When we fix your diabetes, you're only in remission. You're not cured. So you can't go back to eating the way you used to. You just can't. Not easy, is it? It's not easy because we're surrounded by this carbohydrates and the sugars and you guys know that. Okay, so here we go, right? Guys, here we go. That's why you crave. And if you don't eat it, you won't crave it. That's how you get, it takes discipline, doesn't it? Okay, to stop that. Okay, I understood that the reset will balance hormones, yep, and reset your body. Does this mean you'll be able to manage with fewer supplements? Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, guys, supplements are supplements, okay? And I take supplements. I'm eating good, but I take supplements. There's certain things I'll take, vitamin D, usually in the summer, I don't need it so much, but I take probiotics every day. I take high DHA every day. I take my curcumin every day. I want this, okay? But you guys know me. I'm primarily a food guy. I'm a food doctor. My PhD is in nutrition. And supplements are supplements. They're therapeutic. And if you can fix all of it without, I don't know how you do it without probiotics. I don't know. I tell everybody, you got a dog, give it probiotics. That's what I mean. Everybody needs it. Kids need it. Everybody needs probiotics in this day and age. Everybody needs vitamin D in this day and age. 80% of the population need B12 because they don't absorb it properly. It's just the way we live in that world. Okay, so some supplements you need. Okay, here's a question. What about chondroitin? Okay, for bones. Glucosamine. Man, that stuff hit big time. 20 years ago? Maybe 25 years ago? It was the new kid on the block and everybody, even doctors were recommending to patients to take glucosamine and chondroitin. And what did I have to say about it back then? I was never too excited because I never got, look, I always told my patients, one bottle. If it doesn't work in the first bottle, it's not going to work in the second bottle. I talked to a lady there the other day and I said, I wasn't talking about chondroitin. I was talking about something else. I said, is it working for you? She said, I'm not sure. I said, well, if you're not sure, it's not working. How long you been on it? 6 months. Well, stop it. It's not working. Why are you taking it? Right? So all I'm saying is, if you look at our inflammation formula, I have chondroitin in it. I have glucosamine in it. It's one of the things, but I never found that stuff to work on its own. Okay? I never found it to be that effective on its own. I like a combination of things. If you look at our supplements, they're generally combinations of my favorites. That's how we operate. I put them in a blend, okay? But look, Sherry, it's a good question. Will I be able to take fewer supplements? Yeah, you feel good. You'll know, okay? And some things, like for me, I do it by prevention. I take probiotics more for prevention. I take vitamin D for prevention. I take DHA because you see that brain up there? I'm doing everything I can to protect it. I need my brain. And who isn't fearful of that, right? We talked about, did I talk about low platelet count? A little bit, in a sense that I talked about it when somebody says, what causes bruising? Well, that can be low platelets. Platelets are blood cells that have no color to them, and they clot your blood. So you need platelets. If you cut yourself, for example, it'll stop the bleeding. And when you have low platelet count, why is that? Could be several things. Not eating enough eggs, meat, and cheese. You're not making good blood. You don't make blood, if you don't have nutrition, right? Because you need B12 to make good blood. You need iron you need heme iron, by the way, to make good blood. Heme iron is found in red meat. You want good blood? And we already talked about thinning your blood naturally. How do you thin your blood so your platelets are not too thick? Number one thing, drink water. Okay? So drink water. Okay, so let me just see if I got all the questions here. Vitamin deficiency, hammer toe. Yeah, I think I answered. And then what was the other one? I think I was on that chondroitin glucosamine. So I talked about vitamin D. I think I got it all. Okay. And let me just see. I had a couple of studies here. I'll probably bring them next week. Oh man, a couple of them are, yeah, you know what? We're going to do these next week. Okay. 2 studies that came out this week that I flagged, and very, very, very significant. And we'll look at that. Okay. So let me just see. Maybe I got a question. I got a minute or two here before. So let's just go here. People are saying hi to me. And anybody ask a question up there? Well, I don't see any. Okay. So I don't want to get my big old finger in the way all the time. Okay. You guys are great, by the way. I appreciate it. So Janelle is saying to the Martin peeps. Okay, she's working, but okay. So you can share this with your friends, guys. Okay, and don't be shy. Ask questions. If you're not part of the Martin Facebook group, you can invite your friends in to join that private group, which is really good. Lots of feedback, lots of recipes, lots of good discussion. A very, very smart group of people. I'm telling you, it's incredible. Okay, remember now, here's my motto. You have a circle of influence. Okay? Whoever you can influence. Might be just your family or your friends or whatever. And everybody has a circle of influence. And my goal, okay, has always been in that to educate. I'm an educator. I want to educate people. I want to get people thinking. I want people to, you know what information does? It gives you choices. And you know what life is all about, guys? Life is all about choices you make. Okay? And so many people, in one of the areas of their life that they struggle the most in is with food, right? It's a huge problem. It's a big problem in our society today. It really is. And people sort of, sweep it under the carpet and don't talk about it too much. The problem with choices, okay? I am, and constantly I'm bringing you information on making the right choices so that it starts with you guys. It starts with you as an individual. Okay? I'm a preacher. Okay? I preach the gospel. I do. I'm a preacher. I'm a lay preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. But, it's whether you're hearing or not, right? That's what Jesus said. Let him who has ears to hear, hear. So you guys, you make choices in your life and the foods that you eat. And health doesn't come by osmosis, guys. I'm going to go to bed tonight. I'm just going to think about being healthy and I'm going to be healthy. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay? So remember that. Choices that you make. Okay? And the more you make the right ones, the more this stuff gets cemented in. So try and influence. You do it and then influence the people that you can, your family and friends or whatever. Okay? That's how you spread out. You spread the message out. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
You've reached the end of another Doctor is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.